This is the shit episode versus the shit episode. When have ever song like Let's Kill Hitler? What am I going to go with here? Before this video begins, I'd just like to give an extra special thank you to my patron, the Beast Boss. Links to join the Patreon can be found in the description down below. With Stephen Moffat returning for this year's Christmas special, Joy to the World, I decided to let an algorithm pick my favourite Stephen Moffat episodes. Because Stephen Moffat is returning for Joy to the World, I was planning on doing a video where I ranked every Stephen Moffat episode, and I was initially going to do it in a tier list, but then I remembered that there's a website I found a while ago, which I still haven't used for a video yet, where it gives you the option between two episodes over and over again until it decides basically your list of rankings of any episodes that you have selected. So I decided it would be a good idea and a much quicker way of determining my favourite Stephen Moffat episodes and ranking all of the Stephen Moffat episodes of Doctor Who. So that's what I'm doing in this episode of the TARDIS Coffee Break podcast. And if you want to do this yourself, I'll try to remember to have this tool linked in the description down below so you can rank Stephen Moffat episodes of Doctor Who, or literally anything that you want to do with it pretty much. You can rank literally every episode of Doctor Who, including Classic, on there if you wanted to. I will say I had to tweak the settings a little bit myself to make sure it was just Stephen Moffat episodes, and for some reason some Doctor Who Season 1 episodes that weren't just Boom did keep showing up, but I managed to skip them and cut most of them out of this video. But if you see some Season 1 episodes at the end of the list, at the very end of this video, that's why that happened. I did do it correctly, I even checked afterwards, but for some reason they managed to sneak in there. But without further ado, let's get into the ranking. Okay, so this is on the Metabilis 2 podcast website. It basically allows you to do this preference picker where it gives you the choice between two options to basically narrow down what your favourite stories are. I've had to do a lot of tweaking for this, for it to specifically be Stephen Moffat episodes, and make sure I've got ones that are purely written by Stephen Moffat. These aren't, ones where he's co-writing or, show running, because that would be a lot of different stories. So I've done it specifically to just purely Stephen Moffat written episodes. At least I hope I've done it correctly anyway, because I've had to do the tweaking myself, basically select the episodes myself, because you can only select like different doctors and different eras and stuff like that. You can't select specific writers for this, so hopefully I've picked all the right episodes. I think I've done it correctly, and these should all be Stephen Moffat penned episodes, purely Stephen Moffat penned episodes, including ones from not in his era. But hopefully this will be an accurate way of determining what my favourite Stephen Moffat episodes are. So we're starting with the option between The Beast Below or The Angels Take Manhattan, which is quite a difficult choice to begin with, because I didn't used to like The Beast Below. It used to be a very low point in Series 5, which is a series that I love. But in my most recent watch of this episode, I really liked it and realised I'd kind of underestimated it a little bit. Similar to basically how I feel, it's kind of like the Gridlock effect, because I think I've heard other people talk about this as well. Gridlock was one of those episodes, at least for me, and I think a few other people, where didn't think it was that great on the first watch, but people, or at least me, I definitely like it a lot more now than I used to. And the same thing happens for The Beast Below as well for me. And Angels Take Manhattan, it's a pretty good episode for the season that it's in, because I'm not a big fan of Series 7 myself. So this is one of the higher points of Series 7, but it's not my favourite Weeping Angels episode. But also, even with what I said about The Beast Below still isn't like a standout episode or anything. So this is a very difficult option, I think, purely because there's better Weeping Angels episodes out there, and this is my least favourite of at least the Stephen Moffat pen Weeping Angels episodes. I think I'm going to go with The Beast Below for this, but it is a difficult decision. Okay, so now we get Hellbent or Deep Breath. For a lot of people, this is going to be a very easy choice, because most people hate Hellbent. But for people that have been part of this channel, been watching this channel for a while now, they will know that I am a Hellbent defender, and I love Hellbent. I think a lot of people, I don't want to sound, I think a lot of people don't get Hellbent, or maybe they do get it, but they're still not a big fan of it. But I do feel like there's a lot of people out there who just don't get Hellbent, and they were expecting a really huge blockbuster finale for the series, which I do get, but I think this was the better choice. I do personally really love Hellbent, and I think it perfectly encapsulates and concludes the relationship between Clara and 12, which is also one of my favourite pairings in the show. I can't talk too much about this, but I could go on for a while about Hellbent. I've definitely made a whole video of it in the past, but I could probably make a new one that's even better and talks about why I think Hellbent is underrated and overhated. And as for Deep Breath, I think it's a very weak opening, especially for the first full episode of a Doctor. I don't remember too much about Deep Breath, and I don't remember really enjoying it. I'm not a big fan of Series 8 as a whole. So for me, Hellbent is definitely the better option here, which I think could be controversial because, like I said, a lot of people hate Hellbent. It's one of the most hated episodes. But also, I don't know how many people love Deep Breath in comparison. So maybe this isn't too controversial for this specific comparison, but for me, Hellbent is the clear winner here. Pandorica Opens / Big Bang, or the 11th Hour. So we've got the opening of Series 5 and the finale of Series 5. This is actually a really difficult one as well. I love the 11th Hour. I think it's possibly the best, maybe not series opener, but opener to an era. It could be the best series opener as well. It's a great series opener. If you need a starting point to recommend somebody, I would say Rose. I'd say start from 9, start from the very beginning. But if I had to pick a different starting point for somebody to watch the show, the 11th Hour would be the other one of those. And it's the start of one of the best seasons of the show as well. Series 5 is great. It's easily the best series of the 11th Doctor's era, possibly even the whole Moffat era. But I do love Series 9 as well. And I know a lot of people love Series 10, which I definitely need to rewatch a bit more because my opinion of Series 10 isn't as high as everybody else's. But similarly, because of how good Series 5 is, I also really like the finale of Series 5. I think it's a very good finale. A very Moffat-y finale, and, you know, the second part is very techno-babbly and hard to wrap your head around, and not even necessarily hard to wrap your head around. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But in my opinion, I don't think that matters. I think it's a fun time, even if when you think about it for too long, it doesn't make sense. So this is a difficult one, but I do think I have more positive feelings from the 11th Hour than I would get watching the Pandorica Opens Big Bang. But I love both of these. I think the 11th Hour just about wins in this, but it's a very difficult decision. And on a different day, I could have picked Pandorica Opens and Big Bang, to be honest. So I'm not really certain with this one, but I'm going to go with the 11th Hour. So now we have Boom or A Christmas Carol. Obviously, Boom is one of my favourite episodes from Season 1, 2024, the brand new season that we've had at the time of recording this. I think it's one of the best Stephen Moffat written episodes. Christmas Carol was one of those that I hadn't watched a whole bunch besides like not long after it had just come out and stuff like that. But in my rewatch, it was better than I remember it being. It is a really good Christmas special. I think I'd rather watch Boom though, but I definitely like Christmas Carol more than I thought I used to. Husbands of River Song or The Wedding of River Song. I technically never have actually watched fully The Husbands of River Song because it was kind of released during a point where I wasn't really into the show and I wasn't really watching it like every episode. But I have watched like all the clips of it on YouTube, and I've edited I think it was either the review of it for Harbo's channel or a video about, I think it was a video about the Doctor and River's relationship, and there's a lot of stuff from the Husbands of River Song in there. And so I've pretty much seen the whole episode now, but I've never actually fully sat down and watched it, which is very weird. And it was good. The bits that I've definitely seen, I've pretty much seen the whole episode, but it is good. Even with not having seen it fully, it's definitely better than Wedding of River Song, which is one of the worst episodes of the show. Easily like one of the worst finales of the show, besides maybe like Battle of Ranskor Kolos or something like that. It's just messy, and it definitely shouldn't have been one part, and it doesn't satisfactorily conclude the season at all. So I'm definitely going to go with Husbands of River Song over Wedding of River Song, even though I've not fully watched Husbands of River Song. Name of the Doctor or World Enough in Time, The Doctor Falls. Name of the Doctor is fine. Not a lot happens in the episode, but you know, you have the cliffhanger at the end of John Hurt's War Master reveal, so it's quite iconic for that reason. But the episode itself, not a whole lot happens in it. It's mostly just vibes and questioning whether we're going to find out the Doctor's name at the end of the episode, which obviously doesn't happen. And World Enough in Time, The Doctor Falls is just one of the best two-part finales of the show in general. So obviously World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls. And I also think that should have been obviously Peter Capaldi's final episode like it was meant to be, instead of Twice Upon Time. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, or The Girl in the Fireplace. That's a difficult one because I like, obviously, the introduction of Missy in Dark Water, Death in Heaven. Girl in the Fireplace is fine, but it's one of the weakest, possibly the weakest, Moffat penned episode in the R2D2 era. But it's still pretty cool, pretty good episode, but I think I might go with Dark Water, Death in Heaven in this, but I'm really not sure. Ignore Space Babies. I thought I unticked that. and hopefully that doesn't come up in the future as well with any of the other... Okay, hopefully it's just that one that's ended up somehow getting in here, because that was not meant to be in here. And I even looked at the way I set this up, and it wasn't on the one that I ticked, so we'll see. There's going to be some season 1 episodes just showing up in here for no reason, even though I definitely only had Boom selected. Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar, or Return of Dr. Mysterio. I've never fully watched Return of Dr. Mysterio, but I definitely edited Harbo's review of that one. It was whatever, but I don't think it really intrigued me that much. And I don't think Magician's Apprentice or Which is Familiar is that great, but I definitely know I like it more than most people do. A lot of people hate that one. I don't personally hate the episode, it's just fine, but I'm still going to go with that over Dr. Mysterio. Asylum of the Daleks or Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon. Asylum of the Daleks is not much of anything, really. It's cool that there's a lot of Daleks. We obviously get Oswin in there for the first time as well. Well, I guess we had Clara in the Christmas special as well, but you know. But Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon is a great series opener. I like that. I'm not a big fan of 2-part openers in general, but this one was a good one, and you know, it's better than the finale of that season. It's actually a really good introduction to the season, but the rest of the season is fine, and the finale is terrible. So I'm still going to go with it because it's better than Asylum of the Daleks, definitely. Time of the Doctor or Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. Time of the Doctor is good because it's obviously the 11th Doctor's farewell. It's his last episode. It's regeneration, but not a whole lot happens in it, but it is cool. But Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, obviously it's not the best Weeping Angels story, because that's Blink. As overrated as Blink is, I mean, it's not really overrated, it's kind of rated, because it is good, but I'd never say it's my favourite, not just because it's a basic answer, but I don't get the hype around it as much as I love that episode. But Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone is still also a great Weeping Angels story for the most part, and it's definitely better than Time of the Doctor. Day of the Doctor or Blink, as much as I just said I think Blink's maybe overrated, or you know, it's not my top episode, I think I still prefer it's Day of the Doctor, even though Day of the Doctor is a great celebration of the 50th and a decent story. Dr. Widow and Wardrobe or Let's Kill Hitler, that is a difficult decision because these episodes are both terrible. Gut instinct says Let's Kill Hitler, but it's mostly because I don't remember too much from Dr. Widow and Wardrobe, but I think they're both terrible. A Good Man Goes to War or Last Christmas. I don't remember much from Last Christmas, to be honest. It may be good, it may be bad, I genuinely don't remember. A Good Man Goes to War, I know a lot of people don't like it. I used to like it in my most recent rewatch. I didn't love it that much, but I think I'm going to go with that over Last Christmas. But I need to rewatch both of these episodes before I make a full-on decision with that, really. Twice Upon a Time or the pilot. I think the pilot's pretty boring. From what I remember, it's just a lot of running around and not a lot happens, but it does introduce us to Bill. It introduces us to this kind of reboot. It's not really reboot, but like a new jumping on point. And Twice Upon Time, I don't remember much about it either. I've got negative feelings towards this episode as well, purely because I think Dr. Falls should have been Peter Capaldi's last episode, so for that reason it annoys me even more. So I'm going to go with the pilot, even though I don't love the pilot. Snowmen or Bells of St. John? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of either of these episodes either. They're around the same time. I think they're literally an episode apart, right? I think I'm going to go Bells of St. John, but that's just gut instinct because I really don't like either of these episodes. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead or Listen? I love Listen. I think it's one of the most underrated episodes. I think a lot of people do like Listen, but it never comes up too often in like top 10 lists or something like that, but it's one of my favourite episodes. But Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead is probably still better. A lot of Moffat's episodes during the first RTD era, some of his standouts, and this is definitely one of them. Heaven Sent or Extremis? Obviously Heaven Sent. I don't even remember much from Extremis. Heaven Sent or Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead? That's a little bit difficult. They're both very good episodes, but I do think obviously Heaven Sent is one of the best episodes of all time, so I think I'm going to go with that. Bells of St. John or the pilot? That's a difficult one because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the pilot, but I'm also not a big fan of Bells of St. John. But the pilot introduces Bill and is good, once again, like a good like new jumping on point that they tried to do, I guess. So I think I'll go with that, but I'm not really sure. A Good Man Goes to War or Let's Kill Hitler? Let's Kill Hitler's terrible. A Good Man Goes to War is fine, so I'll go Good Man Goes to War. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone or The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon? That's quite difficult, actually, because like I said, I really like that opening two-part of a Series 6, but I also quite like Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. I think Gut Instinct tells me Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, but these are very equal episodes. Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar or Empty Child, Doctor Dancers? Obviously Empty Child, Doctor Dancers. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls. World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls, easily. Husband's River Song or Boom? Like I said, I've never really properly watched Husband's River Song, so it could be better than Boom, but I really need to properly sit down and watch it fully. But I'm going to go with Boom just because I've actually seen it and I like it. 11th Hour, Hellbent. As much as I am a Hellbent defender and I love Hellbent, 11th Hour is definitely better. 11th Hour or Boom? I think I'm going to go 11th Hour again, but I do love Boom. It's one of my favourite episodes of season 1. World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, or Empty Child, Dr. Dances. That's a difficult one. Obviously, like I said, I love World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. I've not seen it as much as most people, though. So I don't have as positive a vibe for it, as much as I think it is good from what I remember. But Series 10 is one of those series that I need to rewatch more, but that's obviously a great finale and should have been a send-off for the 12th Doctor. But because I've seen it more, I think I'm going to go with Empty Child, Dr. Dances, but that is a difficult one. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, or Blink. These are like the best Weeping Angels stories, but obviously Blink is better. Good Man Goes to War, or the pilot. I'm probably going to say Good Man Goes to War just because things actually happen in it instead of just running away from a puddle monster, but you know, I like the introduction of Bill and stuff like that, but I'm going to go Good Man Goes to War. Good Man Goes to War or Blink, obviously Blink. Empty Child, Dr. Dances or 11th Hour. That's a difficult one. I think I'm going to go with 11th Hour, but that's a difficult one. 11th Hour or Blink, I'm going to go Blink. Good Man Goes to War or Empty Child, Dr. Dances. Obviously Empty Child, Dr. Dances. Boom or Good Man Goes to War, I'd go Boom. Boom or Empty Child, Dr. Dances. Probably Empty Child, Dr. Dances. World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, or A Good Man Goes to War. I'll go World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, or Boom. I'd still go World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. Heaven Sent or World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. That's a difficult one, but like I said, I've definitely seen Heaven Sent more than World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. As great as both of these are, so I'm going to go Heaven Sent. Heaven Sent or 11th Hour. Probably still going to go Heaven Sent, but that's a difficult choice. Heaven Sent or Blink. That is a difficult choice as well. I think for me personally, and it might just be because of how many times I've seen Blink when I was younger and stuff, and how obviously a lot of people say it's like the best Doctor Who episode and it's the highest rated Doctor Who episode and stuff. I still think I would rather sit down and watch Heaven Sent, but that could just be because of how many times I've seen Blink. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, or Boom. Probably Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, but Boom is very close. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, or Empty Child, Dr. Dances. I think technically Empty Child, Dr. Dances is maybe better, but I think I'd rather sit down and watch Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, so I think I'm going to go with that just for that reason. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, or The 11th Hour. I am going to go with The 11th Hour. Husband's River Song or the pilot. I'm going to go with Husband's River Song, even though, like I said, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the episode fully. I still think I've got Husband's River Song or Good Man Goes to War. I think, again, even though I've never fully sat down and watched Husband's River Song, I think it is better. I think I would rather watch that properly than watching Good Man Goes to War again. Let's Go Hitler or Bells of St. John. I swear we had this earlier, but if not, we had another similar terrible episode, terrible episode, or boring episode. Let's Go Hitler is a terrible episode. Bells of St. John is a meh episode, so I think I'm going to go with Bells of St. John, but I don't know if that's the right decision. The Magician's Apprentice and Witch's Familiar or Good Man Goes to War. That's a difficult one because they're both pretty bad, but like I said, I think I prefer Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar, more than most people, so I think I'm going to go with that. Although I've done it now, but which one would I rather watch? I think I'd rather watch Good Man Goes to War, so maybe that was the wrong decision. Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar, or Boom. Definitely Boom. Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar, or Husband's River Song. Again, even though I've not properly watched it, I'm going to go Husband's River Song. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, or Good Man Goes to War. Probably Dark Water, Death in Heaven. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, or Husband's River Song. I might actually go Husband's River Song with that. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, or Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar. Probably Dark Water, Death in Heaven. Beast Below, or Husband's River Song. This is a difficult one because, as I've been saying throughout, I've still never properly sat down and watched Husband's River Song, and I like the Beast Below a lot more now than I used to. So I'll probably do Beast Below, but if I had to actually pick which one to watch between these, I'd do Husband's River Song purely because I haven't seen it fully, but I'm going Beast Below. Beast Below or Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, but like I said, Beast Below is better than I remember it being. Beast Below or World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. I'll go World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls. Beast Below or Boom. I'd rather watch Boom. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead or Husband's River Song. Both very important River Song episodes. One takes place literally right before the other, I think, in terms of River's timeline. I'm going to go Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead or Empty Child, Dr. Dances. That's a difficult one because they're both very good, and Empty Child, Dr. Dances is maybe technically better, but I'd definitely rather sit down and watch Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, and it could actually be better. I'm not really sure. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead or 11th Hour. As great of a series opener and opener to an era as 11th Hour is, I still think I'd rather watch Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead or Blink. As much as I said Blink is maybe slightly overrated, I still think it's a better episode. Hellbent or Dark Water, Death in Heaven. This one is going to be a little bit controversial. I have more strong feelings, memories, and whatever associated to Hellbent and Dark Water, Death in Heaven. As good as Missy is, I don't remember too much else about the episode or that story besides Missy being good, and there's some bad elements in there, like the scene with the Brigadier Cyberman and stuff like that. So I do think I'm actually going to go with Hellbent with this. So sorry if this offends anyone, but I'm going to go with Hellbent. Hellbent or Boom. I'm debating putting Hellbent above it, but I think I'll go with Boom. Hellbent or Husband's River Song. That's a difficult one because, as I've been saying, I've still not watched fully Husbands of River Song. So I think because I know I like Hellbent, I'm going to go with that, but that might be controversial. Hellbent or Beast Below. I think I'm going to go Hellbent again. Sorry if this is controversial. Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, or Dark Water, Death in Heaven. I think I'm going to go Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon there. Ooh. Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, or Hellbent. I am still going to go Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, even though I like Hellbent. Ooh, but compared to World Enough and Time, I think I'm going to go World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, over Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon. Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, or Boom is a difficult one. I like both of these a lot. It might be because recency bias, but I'm going to go with Boom. But I'm not certain with that one. Snowman or Let's Kill Hitler. Snowman is meh. Let's Kill Hitler is bad, so I'm going to go Snowman. Last Christmas or Let's Kill Hitler. I don't remember too much about Last Christmas, but I don't remember it being bad. I just don't remember too much about it, whereas Let's Kill Hitler is bad, so I'm going to go Last Christmas. Last Christmas or Bells of St. John. Bells of St. John was very meh, but as far as I know, Last Christmas could be meh. I just don't remember too much about it, but I'll go Last Christmas. Last Christmas or The Pilot. Same again, really. I think I'm going to go Last Christmas, but I'm really not sure between those two. Twice Upon a Time or The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Wow. Two of the worst Moffat Christmas specials. That's a difficult decision. I think purely for Capaldi in this, I'm going to go for Twice Upon a Time, and with it being his regeneration, even though that scene should have been at the end of World Enough and Time, Dr. Falls, but I'm going to go with it just for that, but I'm really not sure about these two. Twice Upon a Time or The Snowmen. I'll go The Snowmen just because it's probably a better episode, but it's still not great. Okay, I'm going to go Twice Upon a Time over Let's Kill Hitler because Let's Kill Hitler's a bad episode, and Twice Upon a Time is also I would consider it a bad episode, but it's not as bad. Asylum of the Daleks or The Pilot. I think I'd rather watch Asylum of the Daleks, even though I don't like it that much. Asylum of the Daleks or Dark Water, Death in Heaven. I'd definitely go Dark Water, Death in Heaven. I'd definitely watch A Good Man Goes to War over Asylum of the Daleks. I'd probably watch Asylum of the Daleks over Last Christmas, but like I said, been saying Last Christmas is not one that I remember too much of, so it could be better. Deep Breath or The Pilot. I'd rather watch Deep Breath, even though I'm not a big fan of it, but they're both very meh series openers in my opinion. Deep Breath or Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar. I actually think I'd rather watch Magician's Apprentice and Which is Familiar, even though people kind of hate that episode, because at least there's more going on in there than there is in Deep Breath. Deep Breath or Asylum of the Daleks. Again, there's more going on in Asylum of the Daleks, as much as I don't think it's that good of an episode. There's more going on to entertain me than there is in Deep Breath. Same with Last Christmas. Angels Take Manhattan or The Pilot. I'm definitely going Angels Take Manhattan. Angels Take Manhattan or Good Man Goes to War. I'm definitely going Angels Take Manhattan. Angels Take Manhattan or Dark Water, Death in Heaven. I think I'm going Angels Take Manhattan, but I'm not sure with that. Angels Take Manhattan or Husbands of River Song. I think I'm going to go Angels Take Manhattan just because I've seen it more times. Wedding of River Song or Bells of St. John. Now, Bells of St. John is not that great and it's very meh, but it's definitely better than Wedding of River Song. Wedding of River Song or The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. That is a very difficult decision because they're both very bad. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say I think I'd rather watch The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe because, The Wedding of River Song is terrible, but there's more going on in The Wedding of River Song. Even though that's one of the negatives of that episode, it might keep me more entertained watching it again, but it's a very difficult one. Wedding of River Song or Twice Upon a Time. I think I'd rather watch Twice Upon a Time, even though I don't like either of these episodes. Ooh, this is the shit episode versus the shit episode. Wedding of River Song or Let's Kill Hitler. What am I going to go with here? As messy as Wedding of River Song is, I think I'd rather watch it because there's more going on, even though that's a bad thing about the episode. Girl in the Fireplace or The Snowman. I'd rather watch Girl in the Fireplace. Same with Girl in the Fireplace or Last Christmas. Probably same with Girl in the Fireplace or Good Man Goes to War. Girl in the Fireplace or Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar. That's a difficult one. I think gut instinct tells me Girl in the Fireplace, but I'm not sure. Return of Dr. Mysterio or The Snowman. I'd definitely rather watch The Snowman. The Return of Dr. Mysterio or The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. I'm going to go Doctor, Widow, and the Wardrobe, but they're both very not great Christmas specials, but I've never fully sat down and watched Dr. Mysterio. So, Extremis or Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar. I could not tell you what happens in Extremis. That whole I don't think it's really considered a three-parter, but there's 3 episodes with the monks. I don't remember anything from them pretty much, so I'm going to go with Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar. Same with the Extremis versus Twice Upon a Time. I don't remember anything from Extremis, so I'm going to go Twice Upon a Time. Ooh, but Extremis or Return of Dr. Mysterio? I don't know. I don't know which one Extremis is out of those 3 monk episodes, so I'm going to go with Dr. Mysterio, but I don't know if that's the right option. Day of the Doctor or Good Man Goes to War. I'm definitely going to go with Day of the Doctor. As much as I don't think it's like a perfect episode, it's a very good celebration of the 50th, and it's definitely better than A Good Man Goes to War. Day of the Doctor or Hellbent? Okay, I'm going to go with Day of the Doctor, but I was debating picking Hellbent. Day of the Doctor or The Nth Child Doctor Dancers? I think I was going to go with Nth Child Doctor Dancers, because I think technically it's a better episode in terms of the story and stuff. But I'd rather sit down and watch Day of the Doctor because it's a more fun time and a great blockbuster kind of episode and celebration of the 50th. Day of the Doctor or 11th Hour? I'd rather watch 11th Hour. Day of the Doctor and Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. That's a difficult one. I think if I had to pick one to watch right now, I'd rather watch Day of the Doctor, but I like both of those. Listen or Good Man Goes to War. Listen is underrated, and Good Man Goes to War is a meh mid-season finale, so I'm going to go Listen. Listen or Hellbent. This might... Actually, no. I was going to say this might be controversial, and I'm going to go with Hellbent, but I think I will go with Listen, because I think Listen's very underrated. Listen or Empty Child Doctor Dancers. I'm going Empty Child Doctor Dancers. Listen or Boom. I love Listen, and as I said, I think it's underrated, but I'm going to go with Boom. Listen or Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon. I'd have a much more fun time watching Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, I think. Pandorica Opens Big Bang or Good Man Goes to War. I'm obviously going Pandorica Opens Big Bang. Pandorica Opens Big Bang or Hellbent. As much as I think Hellbent is underrated and I love Hellbent, I'm going to go with Pandorica Opens Big Bang. It's one of the best series finales. Ooh, this is a difficult one. Pandorica Opens Big Bang or World Enough in Time Doctor Falls. World Enough in Time Doctor Falls is really, really good. I think there's some great character moments for the 12th Doctor in there, but I would definitely have a much more enjoyable time watching Pandorica Opens Big Bang, and I think it works a lot better as a finale to a series than World Enough in Time Doctor Falls it does. But they're both great episodes, all great stories, but I'm going to go with the Series 5 finale there. Series 5 finale or Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. I think I'd rather watch the finale, but they're both good stories of Series 5. Pandorica Opens Big Bang or Day of the Doctor. That's a difficult one. I think they're on a very similar level. I think I'd rather watch Pandorica Opens Big Bang, but like I said, they're on a very similar level. Time of the Doctor or Asylum of the Daleks. I'd rather watch Time of the Doctor, even if it's just because it's the 11th Doctor's like regeneration episode. Same for Time of Doctor Beast Below, I think, but Beast Below could be better. Time of the Doctor, Impossible Astronaut or Day of the Moon. I'd rather go with Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon. Time of the Doctor or Hellbent. I don't know if this is controversial to say that I'd rather go Hellbent, because I don't think Time of the Doctor's that beloved, but I would rather watch Hellbent. Name of the Doctor or Last Christmas. I remember more from Name of the Doctor, even though nothing really happens in it, and it's got that ending with John Hurt, so I think I'm going to go with that. Name of the Doctor or Angels Take Manhattan. I'm going to go Angels Take Manhattan. And more actually happens in that story, and it's better as well. The ending of Angels Take Manhattan with Amy and Rory's farewell is better than the reveal of the War Doctor, maybe. I think more culturally of a moment, the reveal of John Hurt as the War Doctor is probably better, but on a character level, I think Angels Take Manhattan ending is better. Magician's Apprentice, Witch's Familiar, or Name of the Doctor. I think more happens in Magician's Apprentice, Witch's Familiar, but I don't know if that makes it a better episode or not, but I'm debating going with it. Actually, I'm going to go Name of the Doctor purely for the War Doctor moment at the end. Name of the Doctor or Dark Water, Death in Heaven. More happens in Dark Water, Death in Heaven, and it makes it more enjoyable to watch, even with the War Doctor reveal at the end of Name of the Doctor. Name of the Doctor or Girl in the Fireplace. Girl in the Fireplace is a much better episode. Christmas Carol, Last Christmas. I think Christmas Carol is the better Christmas special. I'm going to go with Christmas Carol over Husband's River Song, just because, once again, I've not sat down and properly watched Husband's River Song yet. Christmas Carol is probably a better episode than Time of the Doctor, even though Time of the Doctor is, it has the 11th Doctor's regeneration in it. As an episode as a whole, Christmas Carol is better. Christmas Carol, Listen. I'm going to go with Listen because it's very underrated. This one's going to get me in trouble probably because I think I'm going to pick Hellbent over Christmas Carol. Sorry, everyone. And there we go. This is the list of my results. But what you need to bear in mind is that anytime an episode from season 1 shows up, you need to just disregard it. I think some of them successfully didn't appear. I think they're all at the bottom anyway. And then obviously Boom has actually made its way to the top 10 actually. It's 10th. So I'm going to go through and read the list up until that point. So number 1 is actually Heaven Sent. That actually surprised me. I don't know if I would have said that Heaven Sent is my favourite Stephen Moffat episode, but I know it is definitely up there. So I can see that. I can definitely see that. Blink is number 2, which makes sense. Because I do still think Blink is a good episode, even though I said I think it might be a bit overrated. I do still think it's one of Stephen Moffat's best episodes, definitely, and that's all that's on this list, so that does make sense. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, that is one of my favourite stories, so especially from the first RTD era, so that makes sense. 11th Hour, I think is great, yeah. 5th is the Series 5 finale, which I think that's good. 6th is The Day of the Doctor. I think I can get on board with that. It's maybe a bit high because I love watching Day of the Doctor. It's a fun time. It's a great celebration of the 50th anniversary, but the episode itself is just kind of fine. It's just got some great moments in there. It's a great celebration. 7th is the Series 5 Angels 2-parter. 8th is the Empty Child Doctor Dancers. 9th is World Enough in Time Doctor Falls. 10th is Boom. 11th is Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon. 12th is Listen. 13th is Hellbent. Hopefully that doesn't get me roasted too much online, having Hellbent that high on the list. I like I said, I think it's very underrated and definitely very overly hated on. I personally think the themes in there work really well, but I know a lot of people were expecting something more. Or they just don't like what it explored in the episode, whereas I personally do. 14th is A Christmas Carol. 15th is Time of the Doctor. 16th is Beast Below. 17th is Angels Take Manhattan. 18th is Husband's River Song. 19th is Dark Water, Death in Heaven. 20th is The Girl in the Fireplace. 21st is Name of the Doctor. 22nd is Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. 23rd is Good Man Goes to War. 24th is Asylum of the Daleks. 25th is Last Christmas. 26th is Deep Breath. 27th is The Pilot. 28th is Bells of St. John. 29th is The Snowman. 30th is Twice Upon a Time. 31st is The Wedding River Song. 32nd is Let's Kill Hitler. 33rd is Doctor the Widow and the Wardrobe. 34th is The Return of Dr. Mysterio. 35th is Extremis. And then the last ones are the ones that weren't meant to be in this list. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, I think this is a good way of determining what like my list of episodes or my ranking of episodes is. There were actually surprisingly less fully Stephen Moffat written episodes than I thought when I looked at the whole list. So I maybe could have done this in a tier list, but it still probably would have taken longer actually. So I think this was the best way to do it, quicker. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the future, and hopefully that was every episode that was purely written by Stephen Moffat, because the fact that those season 1 episodes made their way in there, even though I definitely didn't select them, makes me worried that some things might have been deselected that weren't meant to be, but I think that's right. I don't think any other ones that were meant to be in there are missing, but let me know if they are, and I'll maybe say where I think I would place them if they are. Okay, so that's my ranking of every Stephen Moffat episode in Doctor Who. Let me know what you think of this ranking, and let me know what you think of using this tool for future videos. I was planning on doing at one point where I rank every episode of Doctor Who, but that would probably take forever. So if there's any other specific instances that you think I could use this tool for, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do it in the future. Obviously, the reason I've done this video is because Stephen Moffat is returning for this year's Christmas special, Joy to the World. So if you want to see my breakdown of the preview for that episode, I'll make sure to have that linked on screen now.